Welcome to ToV Live. It is Valhalla time. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the ToV Podcast, episode 60. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Sunday to you all. And big wave out there to all people out in the Spotify audio sphere. Community's growing. I noticed like the past few weeks that I've gotten like a few more followers, in that, and the numbers keep on bumping up. So welcome to everybody who's listening to this audio when it gets out there, when it gets released. But tonight. Oh, and before we do that, my brain's only half functioning tonight. Just so y'all know. I'm just saying, so there's probably going to be a lot of mess ups tonight, but I am Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla, and with me on the panel tonight we have Sir Joe Crazy. We have returning with us Rocco Robotics, aka Jason, and then as well here we have Jeremy, they let him call it, who, he's already said this news a little bit ago, but I'll have him say it again, and I'll say one thing when it comes to it. It is so cool that Jeremy works for Renegade now. And I know for as long as I've known him, this has been a dream, like almost like an impossible dream for him. And it's really hard to get in the industry in this way. And when he was able to tell us that he landed this, I was just like, yes, victory. I was so happy. So go ahead and say it. Talk a little bit about that, Jeremy, for a second.
Yeah. So just to address the matter, I've been contracted by Renegade Game Studios to work on the lore of Heroscape. So moving forward from everything everything that's already been announced, of course, that I was not a part of, but everything moving forward, I will have a hand in. Moving forward, I will be directly responsible and helping, consult and develop and direct anything associated with the narrative of Heroscape. So that includes, of course, the Thormun's journals and the bios and the writing and narratives and the back of the box and the scenario text. Everything associated with pen and paper is part of the department that I'm in, which is known as the Lore Council. Which is appointing both me, Dandelions, and the three developers of Heroscape, and then Lee herself. So as the six of us, we are all working together to make sure this narrative is delivered to your doorstep every month, and that you get the best, and of course, the continuation and the conclusion of some of these story beats that we've been waiting for to be concluded for a long time. Definitely things we've been talking about, so it's going to be great. Gotta get it.
I think it's awesome too that it's like it's a great foot in the door for you for possibly doing other things in the future. I mean, it really like solidifies and begins your career in this type of storytelling aspect, which it's thrilling. It's great. I'm so happy for you, man. All right, so tonight, we got a comment to go through from last podcast, and we are going to be reading through, since we have our lore master here with us tonight. We're going to be going through some Thormun's journals. We haven't done that in a little bit, so we're going to read through some of those. But before we get started with that, I do have one comment from the last ToV podcast. And last ToV podcast, we talked about the Deathwalkers, mostly Deathstalker, and then all the Deathwalkers. Which was a fun little bit, and I have one comment that had nothing to do with that, but it was something that I said, and it's kind of hilarious, so I'm just going to bring this up real quick. Said by someone who I don't know. Hi, Paul. Okay, so let me get this. Okay, I'm going to share a screen so you guys can see this as well. Y'all, I just got to give me one moment. All right, and there it is. I believe that's it. My goodness, my functioning brain. Yes, okay.
Here you go. We got it.
Here we go. We got it. I think we got it. All right, and Dan, Dan there in the chat, how you doing tonight? Yes, yeah. Dan says so excited to get more lore. Yeah, we're gonna approach that in a second.
Nice.
Okay, so Garanek says at the 25-minute, 24-second mark, in quotations, and this is a quote that I said. And if you listen seconds after, I give better context to it. But obviously, he's just he's making a rib, which is fine. The important thing is, no matter what happens, you're going to fail. Life advice from Tales of Clips to take out of context.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah,
Gotta love it.
I thought that was pretty hilarious. I'm glad I got audience that will hold me accountable even when I don't need to be. It's a fun thing. It's a beautiful thing. I think that's all I need to say about that. So here I'm gonna stop sharing. All right. Thank you, Paul, so much. All right. Now let's get into then the journal entries, and I think I'm gonna try and pop them up on the window like I just did with that note. I just got to make sure that everybody will be able to see this, but at the same time that'll be able to fit in the screen here. So just give me a moment with this. It would have been a great thing to set up, beforehand, but
sure, but
no, of course
it's fine.
Have a functioning brain, everybody. Have a functioning brain right now. Okay, so I got to click this button. Share my screen, and then let's just see what it does here for this. Okay, I think that works. I think so. Maybe here. Let me see. Can I get this any wider? Let me see how it looks here. I think it works. Is it too small for the audience? Anybody who's watching live, does that look too small? Because I could just post like this, just PDF on the screen. Then our panel will be able to see it, but they can look the stuff up on the computers as well.
No, you could definitely make that bigger. I don't know why you can't.
Let me see it. I mean, I can make it bigger. The problem is you won't be able to see everything then. That's the issue.
No, but why is it on Discord not Discord, but why is it on OBS you only have it as the window?
Why do I have it as a window?
Why is it a pop out?
I think he's saying
you're just recording your TV, your screen.
Yeah, I had Discord just select the
instead of have it record the window itself.
No, this isn't connected to OBS at all.
Oh, you're not doing OBS?
No, I'm not doing OBS. This is in Discord.
So I am
Discord. Yeah, I think OBS. Oh. Yeah, you guys wouldn't be able to see it on OBS if we did that. So at least not in real time. So here.
Well.
Okay.
I mean, we don't need it. We should have it downloaded already.
Wait a minute.
Just like everybody at home, right? Everyone at home right now has it printed out in a book form, and go to page and journal entry number 28, guys, and we'll pass it around the room. We'll each read a section.
Yeah, I just find something. I don't know if this is my PDF that's deciding to edit this, but I noticed there's an inconsistency here with okay. Sorry, guys, for the technical difficulties. For those of you listening live or listen to the audio, but you guys look up Thormun Journal Entry 28, and do you see this this sentence here, right here, where
yeah, it does go off the page.
Yeah,
yes.
Does it go off the page for you guys?
Yes, it goes off the page.
Okay. Okay, I was just making sure that wasn't an error on my part. Okay, that is good to know. I think it's just with. Joined up with Jandar and has acted, so that's fine. All right, I think that looks actually pretty clear. I
mean, honestly, if you're actually reading along with us, like I said, you should have it next to you, unless you're listening to it on the audio sphere, and at that point.
I think
it works. Read.
I think it works. That way we can see this and ourselves at the same time. So how
on
about
our podcast reading voices as we learn about the travels and the travails.
Podcast reading
Journal Entry 28.
All right. So I guess we'll just start then. We'll just leave it like this and see how we'll get feedback. If anybody who's watching this podcast or
They'll tell us.
So I suppose
They'll let us know.
listening,
Right.
it doesn't matter if you're listening or not, but if you're watching this via YouTube and you're like, Ryan, I'd just rather you just pop the thing like this instead. You guys can't see this, but you'll see if I just pop it like that. Or if you want to keep it in the windows like that, let me know. I could do it either way. It just seems a little bit more convenient for the panel to be able to see it like this, and then you all can see us as an audience as well, reacting to it and reading it. But I'll leave it up to you guys. Just give me some feedback and let me know what you all think. All right. So, Travels and Travails, journal entry number 28. And I have no idea how many paragraphs. Oh, it's a crap ton of paragraphs. All right. How about Jeremy? How about you start first 3 paragraphs ending in a spiral, okay?
All right. This was inscribed by Thormun of Tealaron on this, the 12th day of Ronveg. The ruby-eyed viper is snaking its way through my restless slumber again when I'm suddenly startled awake. Tyrion puts a finger to his lips and makes a hand gesture beckoning me to follow him. He weaves his way through dark halls as I follow. Tyrion has always struck me odd as a odd sort of fellow. He trained under Ular as one of his protectors, and still carries their unique style crossbow at his side. However, shortly after the rise of the Valkyrie, he joined up with Jandar and has acted as a sort of messenger. Tyrion comes upon a door at the end of the long hall. He slowly turns the knob and slips into the room beyond. I follow after him. The room stands empty, but for a very large fireplace built into the far wall. Tyrion turns to me and speaks in a hushed tone.
What general would lead an army from an empty and abandoned place such as this?
I know Vidar commands a sizable force. Oh, wait. Oh, that's still in the quotation. Never mind.
I know fire commands a sizable force and does so with efficiency, but where are the warriors, healers, messengers, and generals moving about conducting the affairs of war? While the rest of you slept, I went seeking answers to my questions and discovered this.
And Tyrion moves over to the fireplace and feels along its stone face. He comes across one of the blocks, which is a darker tone than the rest, and presses in on it. The sound of grating rock is heard as the inner wall of the fireplace shifts and moves away, revealing a long tunnel lit by a red glow. The fireplace is tall enough that we need only duck slightly to walk into the passageway that opened up. The walls of the tunnel are made of a smooth, dark stone. The red glow that illuminates this place shines out from odd strips of light that run along each side of the hall. The floor slopes steeply downward, and as we venture forward, we find that we are continually making right turns. The passageway seems to be twisting its way downward in a spiral.
Okay. And then, Jason, would you like to read? Yeah, the next 3 paragraphs. Wait a minute. I'm not confuse myself here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. The 3 paragraphs that end the page.
As we descend the spiraling corridor, a sound begins to grow. It's the sound that the surface lacks. Activity stirs beneath us. Precaution says to turn back before Vidar finds us snooping, but curiosity pushes us forward. Forward we go down, down, down for what seems like an eternity, until we take our last right turn and see the tunnel open up into a huge pillared underground hall. Despite its massive size, the hall is well lit by the same mysterious red glow that lights the passageway. Many exits line the walls here. A flurry of activity in and out of the arched passages all around allow us to go unnoticed, standing in the shadow of our seemingly unused entryway. The sound of 1,000 metal feet clanging against the stone floor reverberates off the great hall as a battalion of Solbergs marches through the center of the hall and file out of one of the larger passageways. The Solbergs are the most abundant of all the soldiers here, but there are also quite a few humans from Earth. They walk in small groups or alone, hurried about their business. The hall here seems to be but a convergence point in the great underground city. The left side of the hall is particularly noisy, which looks to be specialized Solbergs drill and dig and carry away the mounds of dirt from a newly forming tunnel. There's no telling how long Vidar has worked here in secret, how massive this underground complex is, and how many places and where it leads to the surface. But one thing is certain, Vidar holds more secrets than any of us could have guessed.
Okay. And okay, so that's 28. And so what do we think about this journal entry? So this is Thormun again investigating, like journal entries before. We had Drake Alexander write a little bit of things, but this is a little bit different story. You know, this is investigating Vidar, and what he is planning to do, like underground city, acquiring like Solborg, some humans in there as well. Who is and okay, so it's Thormun and well, let's actually Jeremy, let me ask you, 12th day of Ranvig, what does that mean?
So Ranvig refers to a glyph that was available in Maladon's Prophecy, the Wave 1 set, that stops all flying special powers from activating when a character stands on it. However, later on, these passages hint that Ranvig is in fact the name of a month of Valhalla.
Makes
so
sense.
It's just a time tracker referring to probably the same concept of just really strong wind. So that's another indicator of why they were on horseback. Because a lot of people like make jokes about that. They're like, why could they fly, but if they ride on horses? I'm like, we can run, but do you run every day? Like, but like, you know, obviously don't think outside the box. That's how it works. And but no, that's the general idea, is that they during this time frame it's like super windy, so they can't fly as much. And so they use the same name too.
And who's Tyrion?
Tyrion is one of the emissaries that was appointed by Jandar. All we know is that he was trained as a protector, became one of Jandar's messengers. He's part of the emissary party here in this group. There's 11 of them.
Is there 11 of them?
Do you believe it?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Do you believe there's any reason why we haven't seen him as a figure?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're about to find out. We're about to find out in the next passage.
Oh, okay.
Because he probably dies.
Yeah, it's in the story. Yeah, it's in the story.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Joe's jumping ahead.
Gotcha. That's. I think everybody's thinking that too. Like.
Yeah, no, there's an answer for that.
Gotcha. It's fascinating. I really, really love reading through these because we're talking about like underground places. I'm like, well, and we had to wait all the way to like the Dungeons and Dragons to get like a dungeon like terrain. I'm like, just make like, you know, a cool terrain so we can make underground tunnels. It's like,
well, and
no, the sad part is they had the lore all along and they didn't even use it. Yeah. Because like so many people talked about Vidar's underground city for so long, and then when Battle for the Underdark was teased, they're like, finally we get Vidar's underground city, and then we didn't get Vidar's underground city. We still haven't got Vidar's underground city. I'm like, it's there, it's been there, guys, come on, you're asking for content, your content is available.
That's cool.
Jason,
man's been building a
Jason, let me ask you a question. When it comes to like we were saying, underground cities, because like say in Tales of Valhalla, like I got some stuff from High Ground to where it's like underground mine shaft stuff. How like would it be difficult for Renegade to like create and produce something maybe not as detailed as what High Ground produces, but something similar to have like an underground type feel of terrain?
I mean, not really. Technically, you know, creating a new set of tiles would be fairly easy, but you're making them then now it's a fairly specialized set that doesn't really integrate super well with like big open battlefields. So I don't know if you'd sell a lot of them, so it may just be a money choice. I mean, what you could do is you can almost have like just long, like maybe longer narrow tiles that kind of without any walls or any sort of 3D aspect to like the sides of the tunnels, and call them like in a scenario that's like underground like tunnels and you can't see through the outside of the tiles. Therefore, you can kind of use them as a normal layer on top of a normal battlefield. You can kind of chew usage out of them, but you wouldn't get the full visual effect of them being in a tunnel because there's no walls to them if you use them in that scenario type thing.
True. Yeah, I'd say, I guess for me, as just like a stop motion animator, I like when everything's enclosed, but yeah, it necessarily wouldn't work for like a tournament scenario too much, or even like I mean, I think casual gameplay. I mean, we had fun playing with the high ground, underground stuff. There's ways you can integrate it, but I also think if it was like a scenario tournament to where you'd have to be underground, then it might be integrated in that way. Yeah, it'd just depend, I guess, what they would come up with. I don't think of anything as like extravagant as high ground, though.
I mean, from a gameplay perspective too, when you got underground tunnels, you have lots of choke points, and that naturally changes how you figures interact, and then could easily throw the balance of the game off and things, and that could be an issue too.
This is true. And I mean, I think one thing that, I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's disappointing, but it kind of is that it's like we had Vidar, kind of like spruced up as this character who like different generals had different motivations, and Vidar more so, but now we're not getting too much. And even in the lore that Renegade's currently producing, it seems like a lot of these original Valkyrie generals are like either they're incapacitated, or they're just stepping back, and others are taking cover. Because it's like Queen Kyrian is like,
you have to remember
yeah.
You have to remember poison. Yeah, the pirates poisoned everybody.
Right. Okay,
that's
so
where we're currently at. So.
Oh, okay. So because that's one thing we were asking, or we were wondering. Okay, how was the Wellsprings being poisoned? So it's the pirates that are doing it?
Yeah. So if you play Battle for the Wellspring, the first 4 scenarios that drop there is like a prequel to the scenario that's explained in Age of Annihilation. But in Battle for the Wellspring, if you're playing the Wizards, you're trying to stop the Killian Vane's the leader of the group, and then Bach Bernat and Fia are trying to find Aquila's Wellspring and trying to poison it. Now the scenario ends with, obviously it's like, it's fluid, right? You play it out with your friends. You can choose how it ends, but the general canonical ending is that they didn't find Aquila's Wellspring because it's hidden. Aquila, the new lore is that she has a mountain, Mount Tildept, right? Which is actually hollow. And so her wellspring is inside the hollow mountain, but is a hidden passageway. And then there's like all these thousands of other caves and caverns that go inside of it and then connect to that wellspring and have like bubbles of like diluted water come out of that. And so they found one of those, and they assumed that by putting the poison there, it would seep into the original wellspring, which it does. Because when you open up Age of Annihilation and you read the first wellspring vision, Aquila is sending Zenithrax to this peace summit with the warning, saying that she needs to establish her dominion again. They're like threatening her, like, hey, they tried to poison me, but she caught it. Aquila, so far as we know, Aquila is the only one that has not drank from her poisoned wellspring. Ular is poisoned because Sonlin reports it, and I think those are the two solid confirmed poison Valkyrie. But the pirates currently are actively going out of their way to poison everybody.
Which makes perfect sense because they're tired of the war.
Pirates,
yes.
But most pirates are under Revna, right? Or are they on their own?
They were all summoned by different groups,
okay, and
then formed into their pirate group that they currently are in.
Gotcha. So
the summons that you see on their cards, of course, if we're going to break immersion, just to put that's how they came. That's how Renegade received them, was with those logos. So they had to use them still. But based on the story, the pirates have broken away from all of Valkyrie at this point. And so whatever their logo is on their card is who summoned them to Valhalla, but they are no longer following them. They are all following a mysterious leader.
Yeah, so. And I love that story plot. I think, no matter how I'm not a fan of how the pirates play, but like I'm a total fanboy of like their storyline. I think it's so cool that they're like here. Like, I mean, think about it. That you've been in Valhalla for so long, fighting a war that's not even anything that you care about, and now it's like, well, I don't want to fight this war. So why not just kind of say, hey, I don't want to be part of this anymore. And then, hey, you know what? I don't want to be part of this war. And it's like, all right, let's go do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And like when they eventually come together and be like, hey, how do we actually end this war? And they go realize, oh wait, the Wellsprings. Everyone's fighting for the Wellsprings. If we get rid of the Wellsprings, then the war will be over.
The war problem. Yep.
So,
And
and maybe theory crafting here, if they do get rid of the Wellsprings, that might end the war, but it most likely also end Valhalla. So hence the Age of Annihilation.
yeah, well, yeah. And again,
go.
So who
what does that
knows?
mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
It is important moving forward to kind of just like listen to the titles and you know those like and they did it in the past, so this isn't like a surprise. I'm not like, you know, again, NDA breaking or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they have not. It's not been a surprise in the Heroscape franchise that titles play important parts, scenario stories play important parts. People pull from old content all the time and bring it into the future. So yes, Age of Annihilation has a meaning, and you will find out that meaning as each scenario drops each month. You'll like kind of like the definition of annihilation will be expounded upon, and you will find out as a player why that title is being used. Like what is so scary about this? Like why is everyone like geared up for this, you know, event, this massive problem that is currently ongoing, right? And everyone's like, essentially their reactions to it, like how they react, like especially Ravna's announcement to the summit, right? No one knew who she was. And she, not only does she show up as a new Valkyrie, but she shows up with rumors of having killed another Valkyrie. So you're like, what? Like, who are you? Who are you?
The Valkyrie who must not be named.
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like those whispers are messing with a lot of people. So, yeah, just a lot of crazy stuff they did. They were going to try to end the war, but the pirates were already done. And before they could try to do anything, the pirates were like, hey, poison. So, again, the only confirmed Valkyrie that we know that are poison right now is Ular, and they had an attempt on Aquila, but she dodged it, caught it before because of the Arborian wizards. They saved her.
Okay, well,
shout out to the wizards.
And yes, darn wizards. But before we wrap up on this journal entry here that we were talking about, I just wanted to ask one thing, and I'll pass it to Joe if he's got anything he's interested in this passage. But I was like one of the last paragraphs here, when it says the left side of the hall is particularly noisy. What looks like to be specialized soulborgs drill and dig, carry away mounds of dirt from a newly forming tunnel. So this is a soulborg that we've never seen a miniature of. It seems like almost like the furry woodland creatures drill. Those drilling creatures that we saw that we might get sometime down the way from Renegade. Yeah. But it reminds me of that. It'd be cool to have soulborgs that could drill actually through the ground, wouldn't it?
That would be dope.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be dope.
That would be awesome. I mean, we have a burrow breaker.
Yeah,
that we're
that's what
burrow breakers. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, barrow breaker. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then I think the first one to do something similar was Earth Elementals on the ground movement. But I mean, you can always adapt and like, you know, change some of the mechanics, make it a little like unique. Be like, hey, this soulborg is like building stuff. This one's a building soulborg, and this one's a scrapping soulborg. So like, if you want to take down a ruin or something like that, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
take stuff off the map. You know.
And because they haven't really said anything, I'd like to just assume that's the Zedian infantry, and they just rip the arms off of them, and then just put on, drills and bits and knives or whatever. Just like an army of. I mean, even maybe. Technically they're unique, but who knows, the Zedian guards, but yeah, that's cool. My other thing I was gonna say, going back to your question with Jason with the terrain, and it's like not necessarily needing to have tunnel terrain, like high ground, but even just to have, let's say, you know how they have the road terrain have a different pattern on top of the hex. So having a different pattern on, let's say the 24, the 7, the 3, the 2, and the 1, maybe the same color as like rock terrain, maybe a little bit darker, but have a different design on top of that they could sell as a terrain system, box, and say this is like, either the tunnel pack or the, you can call it the Vidar City pack, and it comes with, some of this new terrain, and then maybe have, let's say, giant pillars as line of sight blockers, or more walls that are shaped differently to symbolize the the Vidar theme. So
Nice. Yeah, I like that idea.
But yeah, no, this is a good story. I like this.
Jason, any thoughts for this journal and this journal entry 28 before we move on to the next one?
I was gonna say, kind of as a little bit of a joke, that Vidar security is so terrible. His city should be invaded by now. I mean, you had a bunch of guys just found the secret passage by wandering around and noticing the stone was a button, and then when they actually got in there, no one noticed they broke in. So it's like,
what do you want them to have? What kind of alarm system do they have? They don't have, like, what kind of? I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, what? They just walk right in.
I'm thinking too hard is what it is. But,
but like, that to me is nice, because they didn't have any guards.
Right.
What? So you tell me no Blastertrons, no Gladiatrons, just watching over these tunnels? Nothing? No? Okay.
Joe, don't think too hard. Consume product.
I imagine if we were to give an answer to it, it was just because it was like a beta project and nothing of general, what's the word, concern. Because you think about it, like, as a general, you always want to have displays of power and something to make people obey you. You can't just be sitting around and hoping that they listen. So of course, like, maybe he knows he's good, so he's just he's like, oh, wait, you don't think I got this? And then presses a button, and all of a sudden you just see like these panels left up, and it's just marching metal soldiers, for miles. Some crazy Lord of the Rings scene, with Saruman, host of thousands vibe. But that's the thing. It's like we will never know exactly the direction that this particular part of the story was meant to go, because they never got the chance to flesh it out, which is the intention of Heroscape moving forward. Let's see what we can do with everything that was left behind.
We need these threads to be either reattached or come to a completion or something. We need to know, Jeremy. Just let them know. We need.
Yeah, no, I've been ever since I signed that contract. I've been taking copious amounts of notes. I have various documents prepared for old lore. So everything is going to get answered. If I can get it answered, I'll do my best. If I can't get it answered, I'll make sure I couldn't get it answered. But I've actually been able to do a lot in the past couple of weeks. You'll all be next year's gonna be great. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm so stoked for 2025.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
And one more thing on the whole terrain thought process. I don't know if you guys discussed this when Discord blew up on me, but you can almost take an approach like the Fortress of the Archcurie, where you had the little battlements in the side, but make them taller in the walls. So you could use existing tiles and just clip on tall walls to the side, and therefore you kind of can make your own more narrow or hallways, and for the big tiles they become the caverns, and then you don't have to worry necessarily about having a totally separate tile set for just underground stuff, but more random thoughts about how you could possibly bring this type of thing to life.
Oh, for sure.
No, for sure. That is such an underutilized mechanic, is those battlements. Like being able to have that design that you slide the terrain down on, like that is not used anywhere else other than the battlement. I really want to see that happen more. Like, even if you, like Jason said, like have, a taller one. Like, why not just, not one, have it like a 3-pack where it's like it's attached to 3 that you can attach into each one, and it looks like rock formations, so that it does look like you're going up against a part of a tunnel or something that's been crashed down. So when you make tournament maps, they have a better feel of underground. Yeah, you're having a wide-scale battle underground. It doesn't have to be tunnels. It doesn't have to be close quarters, but it could still have this internal vibe because we have jungle maps, we have forest maps, we have road maps, we have ruined maps, like cityscape, like from the Marvel sets people have been using, which I don't think we'll ever see again. But
I love cities.
There's so many different variations, and yeah, using the dungeon to make it seem like underground a little bit, but once again, the battlements might take you out a little bit. But then again, Shadow brings us back in. But so anyway, it's a really good point. I like it, Jason.
All right, well, that's taking a look at a journal entry 28 of Thormun's journal exploring original Heroscape classic lore. All right, and before we jump into journal entry 29, let me just catch up with the chat because I noticed I wasn't ignoring you guys. I really do appreciate the comments, and let me get to those for a second. So we got Billy Birdie here and in the chat saying, thanks for the content, guys. I'm at work, so need to go do work stuff, but look forward to listening later on. Well, there's a shout out to you, Billy. Thank you so much for leaving a comment. I'm new to Heroscape, so I have a lot to learn. Well, I mean, that's one of the things I'm trying to do on my YouTube channel is like compile these, eventually just making I out these podcasts, especially these journal entries, looking at each individual squad or hero, so that way they're in their own playlist for you to look at and look at our perspective. And there's plenty of other YouTube channels that do Heroscape for you to look through too. So definitely it is the time to look at Heroscape content creators, and you will basically discover everything you need to know for that. So best of luck to you for that, and thanks for commenting, and good luck with your job too. Good luck with work. And Dan here, Dan Antonio is saying, does anyone get this from the pirates? They are a reflection of Heroscape as a wild different reactions coming together, but now they're within a single squad. I'm not exactly sure what that means. And sorry, and for those of you guys who don't know, Jason has a new setup, like a new studio setup, computer and stuff, so he might drop in and out during the stream tonight, just so you know. He warned us beforehand that might happen. But this thing about the pirates, Joe, do you understand this? Again, I'm working on half a brain here.
They're a reflection of Heroscape as a wild different reactions coming together, but now they are within a single squad. Yeah, so I think maybe he's just kind of reiterating. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong here, Dan, but I think he's trying to say, talking about how they're all from different Valkyrie generals coming together as a single unit. Like, because the one thing I kind of hate that Renegade has taken away is the labels of the factions.
Right.
And having the pirates not have, like, obviously you could tell that they're all pirates because they're labeled as pirate on the card. But because if there's no like faction name that they talk about, which Jeremy refresh me, what was the pirates faction name that Avalon Hill had? You're muted.
You're muted, Jeremy. Just so you know. I didn't mute you. It wasn't me. Or maybe it was me. I don't think it was me.
I don't think you can. Can you mute people?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay, there goes.
The Dawn Raider
Sorry.
Syndicate? Was that it?
Yeah, Dawn Raider Syndicate.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, that information was not given to Renegade at all.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
all the faction names, the faction purposes, organization,
Interesting.
that just all got left behind in the transition process. So the most important lore, I would say, moving forward is just whatever gets dropped in the scenarios and in the lore book, or the scenario books and the web scenarios. That's the stuff to hold on to. Any questions you might have, we're working on explaining it, and that's all I can really tell you.
Let me explain some things. And
things are on the way. That's all I can. Yeah.
And Dan saying, sorry, I wrote that terribly. Basically, would you recruit your own army, and their They are a mix of generals. Right. They're just they're just
Oh,
from everything.
The idea of Heroscape, yeah.
Yeah, the Pirates faction is a reflection of Heroscape in real life, recruiting individual units for sure. Yeah, I think that's one thing I like about. And the cool thing also is that you have certain pirates that have abilities that can turn someone who's not a pirate into a pirate too, and that is
right,
really
which
cool.
we are very looking forward that one that rule still stays.
Yes.
2, and we hopefully get that unit soon.
Yes.
Everyone's so excited.
All I can say is that all of AOA is on the way.
Woohoo.
That was promised back in 2023.
Darn
The promise is still going to be fulfilled. It's just a matter of time and release dates. We already have Wave 3 announced, and October 11th, mark your calendars. October 11th is Renegade Con for the full Wave 3 release days and dates and all that fun stuff. So you can pre-order, get the lore, all that stuff.
And I'll talk about this near the end of the stream too, but October 11th, it's a little bit earlier in the day because they're going to do Renegade Con for some reason earlier in the day. So like at 12:30 Eastern time, Tales of Hell is going to start streaming like a half hour before Renegade Con starts. And so we'll do a live react to whatever they're going to announce, which we already kind of know what they're going to announce, but we're still going to react to it. So do a ToV live. And then the next ToV podcast that following Sunday on that weekend is when we're going to do our next ToV podcast, and we'll have the full panel here giving our overview thoughts on what they released on that Friday. So it's gonna be a fun weekend. It's gonna be a fun weekend.
And then Roguescaper got a little painting feature, so
yes, you got Roguescaper
awesome.
and Derek too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's oh my goodness, it's like it's and I was telling because someone was asking me like a week or so ago about like Heroscape and Renegade and if Heroscape has been successful, with Renegade. I'm like, well, I think so because they sold out on their website.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. And I was saying for us personally, I mean, I was mentioning that like almost half of the people that are regulars on the ToV panel are doing something with Renegade now. I mean, Jeremy first and foremost, I think, is on the top tier of that. But there's a couple others, including Roadscaper, that are working with Renegade in their own way. So that's just really cool that this integration with Renegade and some of the community is happening. So yeah,
this is exactly what I wanted to see.
Yep. Yeah, it would have been fun if it was Avalon Hill that eventually we did this with. That would have been really fun because I think Chris was really gung-ho for us. But it's all right. It's all right, we'll do our best with what we got, and I think Lee is a very good person. So yeah. As far as I can tell. So how about, journal entry 29. Let us start reading this next one to where I think we already did a spoiler on this from journal entry 28, but
didn't watch that video yet. Imagine if they they're like, this is the first one. Maybe they skipped that part. They're like, all right, don't worry about it.
Go back and watch it. After
they listened to the entry, they didn't want to hear any commentary. They stopped the video.
Sure what to do?
Went to the next one.
I guess
no spoilers.
I guess you're spoiled either way. And you might as well read 28. Otherwise, you don't want to know why we're reading 29. So, I mean, at least that's as far as my half-functioning brain is thinking. Joe, how about you start with the first? Let's see here, how many paragraphs? Actually, they're short paragraphs. And how long does 29 go for? Let's see.
The rest of the page and then over. Yeah, it's a long boy.
But they're kind of small paragraphs. Why don't you read?
Because Jason and Jeremy did the first one.
Yes.
Both of them. We can split this in half. We could do it. You and I.
Okay, we can do. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I could stop. I could
5.
stop right before Shades.
5 paragraphs. 1, 2,
you can come in on
4,
Shades.
5. I can do that. That's fine. All right. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Journal entry number 29. Inscribed by Thormun of Terralon on this, the 19th day of Ranvig, The urgency of our task has driven us deep into the murky heart of Bleakwood. The trees here are black and twisted. Dark leaves cling to the spindly branches. Their gnarled arms reach out toward the daylight in search of fresh air. They won't find what they seek. The air here is anything but fresh. The trees grow close together, shutting out the light. They create a world of eternal darkness, and in that darkness dwell creatures with souls as black as Bleakwood's moonless night. Every sense strains outward, prodding at the darkness for any hint of trouble. Every snap of branch underfoot, every creak and moan of the trees, every last sound that breaks Bleakwood's silence as our hearts jumping in alert. However, the danger that approaches makes no sound at all. In the next moment, time seems to stretch itself out. I watch as every detail slowly unravels itself in the span of an instant. Tyrion pulls back on the reins of his horse. He drops behind a grouping of Ular's protectors, and with a calm and deliberate look in his eyes, he draws his weapon, points it squarely at the back of one of the protectors, and fires. The crossbow bolt whistles through the air and finds its target, and with deadly precision. The protector cries out in pain and then slumps over in his saddle. Confusion and chaos set in. Horses whining as they're forced to turn sharply. Their riders looking for the source of the attack. Before I can react with even a word of warning, because of a reloading mechanism in Tyrion's crossbow, a second bolt is loosened as quickly as the first.
All right. Shades. Time snaps back to its usual speed as the sound of at the sound of Konkin's cry. Oh my goodness, my brain. A dozen translucent figures appear from out of the blackness beyond the trees. Another protector falls to one of Tyrion's bolts. Bedlin twists in his saddle, drawing his sword and cutting down Tyrion in one smooth stroke. Bedlin's eyes catch mine. Wiping a splatter of Tyrion's blood from his brow, he heatedly shouts, "It's the only way to stop a man possessed by a shade." The other shade. Your question now. Yep. The other shades descend upon us, closing us in on all sides. The three remaining protectors send bolts singing through the trees, partly due to the dim light and partly the speed of the shades' movement. Few find their mark. Bedlin calls out, "Don't let them engage you for long. Strike them down quickly." I leap into the air, loosing my hammer from its belt. I dive toward the closest of the phantoms, bringing my hammer down from over my head, sending it tearing through the shade, which dissipates into nothingness. Spinning around, my hammer finds another shade and sends it into the ether. 2 swift scores come at a price. I left myself open for an attack. Another of the shades tears its ghostly claws through my side. I cringe in pain as I feel the creature attempting to devour my very being, invading my soul. But I am saved by Kelda, who sends her spear sailing through the sailing through the attacking creature as she lands next to me and touches my side with her healing hand, instantly making it whole again. "They're retreating," shouts Konkan. A quick surveillance of the area shows the damage. 3 of Allah's faithful protectors lie scattered upon the ground, and with them, Xandar's most trusted messenger, Tyrion the Swift. We have been dealt a terrible blow this day. Of our elven brethren, only 7 remain. We surely won't survive another onslaught like this. We make haste for Lindisfarne. No one sleeps tonight. This is the wonderful love story, and Kelda, is there at the end. Now, okay, I got a question real quick when it comes to now. So, what Kelda holds in her hand and figure, is that a spear or is that a staff?
It's a spear.
It's a spear. Okay,
that's the intention. Yeah.
Okay, because in ToV it looks more like a staff, so that's what I,
She holds it like a staff,
healing staff,
but it's a spear.
It's a spear. Okay. That was
a lot of Thormun's journal content is like additive. Like they wrote this after these characters came out, so there's a high chance they may have changed over time. But I think, yeah, as of current story, she's meant to be holding a spear.
Okay. Gotcha.
Well, now I know what that creature is, and I assume that's Tyrion and a shade behind him.
The shade.
Either Tyrion or an unnamed protector. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like their introduction. And really, Soul Devour for the Shades. There is a good army you can have with Shades that use that. I'm not remembering it specifically at the moment, but I know there's ways. As long as you got a good bunch of them, it's a pretty fun army to use.
Yeah, I got destroyed by Shades 2 weekends ago. I went to an event, and somebody took two squads of Shades and took over both my Hive Lords. I had a Nagrubs and Hive Lord army. Took my Torkolna and my Contorna. And I went, what? There he goes. That's game. Good night.
Soul Devour.
I couldn't do anything.
This is one thing, and I hope, Jeremy, if Renegade's listening, or if you relay this to Renegade sometime in the future, since you're on that crew now. But
right.
This is one thing I like about Heroscape is showing a little bit of helplessness, showing that an actual story to where you're not going to have your typical happy ending usually, especially if you're going through like lore like this, and this is in all kinds of IPs as well, to where you introduce characters, but some are evil, some are good, but you have your issues, you have your good, you have your bad.
It's not a soap opera. Not everybody lives.
Exactly.
No, this is the war. This is war.
Yep.
War never changes.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good little introduction to this. Now, when this journal entry was released, were Shades already out in the market, or did this happen before they were released? Do we know?
When did Shades come out? Let me see. Depends on the date. Oh, I could spell. I could, in theory.
It is interesting. It's definitely a factor that we forget when reading these, is when did certain characters come out? And the weeks. It's not like when you download the PDF, it tells you dates. That would have been great. But
yeah, we lost a lot of in the 14 years that the game has been around. We've lost a lot of data in terms of like where stuff came from. A lot of what I've been doing while I get things finalized is blocking those dates in, so people, not just me, but other designers can refer to it, because it's essential to the brand to know where certain, like for example, when they transition from classic content to Dungeons and Dragons content, things like that is super important. From what I'm digging, Stitch of On dropped in 2007, June. Where? can't remember. Trying to see if they updated at all, because the post he has is Sergeant Drake's War, and that was dated 2007. Yeah, so I can't tell.
Okay.
It might be something I'll have to look up later. But the farthest back I could go with the title Travels and Travails is 2007, but that's after the Shades came out.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't
There's a
matter
high
too much.
chance.
I was just testing your knowledge.
It's
too.
fun
That's the
history.
thing.
Yeah, it's
history.
really obscure history. I don't think people don't remember this stuff.
Mhm.
This is the stuff that came out, and it was really cool. And now everyone that was around when this was a thing, they're all adults now. So it's like, oh yeah, I remember when the Shades grew up. It's like, but do you?
But this is
I remember them being sold at Walmart. So
right. No, and then when it comes to like the actual story here, I found it interesting because when we started reading this, I'm like, wait a second, weren't we just in like tunnels with Vidar? How do we get to Bleakwood? All of a
Well, it
sudden?
was
There's-
4 days.
It was
yeah,
4
there's a
days, eh?
passage of time
Okay.
marked
Yeah.
on the
So and time continues, so we don't know the outcome of the last journal entry, and we go right into this one to where it's got nothing to do with Vidar at all, essentially. So
He's scribing as major events versus a
Right.
daily record.
right,
Yeah.
right. So do we know anything in between that time at all? Nope.
All in the air. It's all travel time. So
Mhm.
best you could assume is the distance between a nun to Bleakwood, and if anything happened between that is between the writers. They don't.
Okay.
So yeah.
And I don't remember us because we brought up the days of Ranvig, and I was scrolling back through to see if there was any more that had stated that. There was one other. Yeah, 27 had said the 11th day. So we went from 11th day to 12th day to 19.
So yeah, passage of time. Either I think there's a few where they're still at the stronghold, just resting, and then there's a few where they're traveling, on ongoing travel. So, but that's all we get.
For
And
sure.
and for Kelda, is this the first time Kelda gets introduced, or has she been introduced before?
I think she's been brought up.
She's in the second chapter because she was she came with Jandar
Okay.
to meet Thormun at the Sigling Sea, and then that's when they got the commission, and then she became part of the emissary group. But she's kind of just in the background, and then appears in this one scene where she fights the ghost.
Right. Doesn't even really heal anybody. She's just fighting.
She healed Thormun's attack, like because Thormun got hit, but
Okay.
and he's just wounded, waiting.
He was just praying that, okay, please let this healing work. Do not roll a bad roll.
Right.
Now, when it comes to like, remind me again, for the sake of context, since this will be this in its own video, where are they going again? And they're just making observations throughout Valhalla, but what's their objective?
So their objective as emissaries is to establish the first ever Valkyria alliance. This is the first time that anyone's attempted contact with anyone in a peaceful sort of way, because as we know, Rise of the Valkyrie was just civil war material. They were just beating each other up nonstop, trying to claim the Wellsprings, couldn't find where the Wellsprings were at, yada yada. And then there's all those like different conflicts, including Kimoshi and all that stuff. That was all happening in between, during this time frame. But before Swarm of the Morrow could even happen, Jandar decided to make contact with the other Valkyrie that had made themselves known at the original summit. So remember that the peace summit that gets held at Age of Annihilation, that's 10 years after the original meeting of the Valkyrie to announce themselves as Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, at the Shattered Table, that map, the Shattered Table, that's the meeting place of the Valkyrie. That's where they announce that they are Valkyrie. And so 10 years after the fact, so in between that 10 years, this is all happening.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Thormun meets all the generals. He meets Ular, gets that contract going, meets Vidar, has struggles a bit, but then gets that contract going, and then meets Einar, and that ends his story. Like he just established the alliance that we worked with in 2007, 2000 to 2009, before the arrival of Valkyrie. Yeah. No.
So this is them. So I mean, I guess that kind of self-explains then the finality of like journal entry 28. So they go to Vidar, and so this is probably the time they meet with him. It's just not recorded that they meet with him to discuss alliance, and then they start going through who would they be heading towards? Would they be going to
Lindisfarne, which is no, so Aquila wasn't known at this point, or if she was known, then she was known to the devs and only the devs, but they were heading to Lindisfarne, which is Einar's place.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So
the Empire
there. For sure. Okay. All right.
But making their way downtown.
All right. Anything else, Joe, Jason, that you that any other observations you guys think?
No.
Nope, nothing there either.
That one's pretty straightforward. That one's cool. That it felt like it didn't really. Did it really? I don't remember. Did it say anything about like what Bleakwood's vibe was? Bleakwood's just very foggy, right? Like, cause like to me, like going through a lot of like haunted towns, you know, like in different areas of America, you know, old towns that have that haunted hay rides and stuff like that. Like that's the vibe I felt.
You got ruins everywhere. Everything's overgrown.
Yeah. The big thing is the trees in Bleakwood. They grow so tight together that no light can enter that forest, and so as a result of weird Valhallan magic, it creates unnatural life that souls are born in Bleakwood that are empty and hateful because they don't have any connection to the life like anything else around it. It's just pitch black.
Reminds me of giant Mirkwood.
Yeah,
Mirkwood in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's a Mirkwood. It's definitely Mirkwood is a great guide for the aesthetic if you want to try to. It's just your typical dark forest in the center of the continent, where just so happens to be in the middle of the territory that the bad guy owns. They're just using the classic themes. The party goes through the dark forest when they get attacked by a ghost. I mean, we've heard this story.
I've heard this ghost story before.
Yeah. Dawn of Darkness had a lot of really good themes, but a lot of those themes were very much just like easy to use, and that's why at least from what I understand in my experience interacting with Final Fantasy, like all that stuff, all the franchises, it's like Dawn of Darkness really didn't stick around as long as any of the others, in my opinion. Like it's hard to find those now, and then it's like I remember them being out, and then they were just not. Then everyone moved on to like Wave 7 and all the others, and I was like, I still need the heavy gruts. I never got the heavy gruts until ScapeCon. That's how hard it was. Like they just pooped. Yeah,
for sure. Oh, we need more of that stuff. We need more. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, if there's nothing else to you guys want to mention, I guess we can wrap up this journal entry. Then looking at journal entry 29. It was a real, it was a very real sounding. It's like they're usually not happy endings or even like continuous endings. Sometimes it just ends for certain characters, and this was one journal entry to find that out. And so until next time, this is looking at Travels and Travails, Thormun's journal entry 29 from Heroscape Original Classic Lore. All right. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing. I'm done sharing. I don't want to share anymore. I'm going to take my ball and go home now. Okay. And I guess we can wrap up then for tonight. Yeah, it's a little bit shorter of a podcast, but actually, Joe, under an hour and a half, practically almost under an hour.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We've achieved.
See?
That's only because actually, if I had both sides of my brain working tonight, I would probably go for another journal entry, but I'm just like, I need sleep.
Yeah, no, but that's because now it gives us fresh, because we're going to use that last half hour or last 20 minutes Okay, we do our closings, and that's wrap.
Plug channel, do backstage. Yep. For anybody who wants to see these backstages, and check out ToV Patreon and our Tales of Hell Patreon, and
Honestly,
there's a lot more content there.
That's where the content is.
a lot of fun stuff.
Where we get the brass tacks and we kind of just talk things out. Or we just like, you know what, we're actually pretty tired. Let's go to bed.
Yeah, later. Bye.
Yeah, no, it's a good balance.
I know it's like we're drawing the straws. You know, you're drawing the straws with these.
Absolutely. Well, okay. Well, how about we then just start signing off? So we can plug our channels, content, whatever. Jeremy, go ahead. First time.
Well, happy first day of fall, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this awesome podcast, and just happy to be here again and talking lore as always. Again, thank you for giving me the space to do so. And I did mention the podcast as on the resume, so it was like that was a big. This platform is a big reason why I have this job now. But like I mentioned before, I have been working and will be continuing to work on the Heroscape narrative moving forward. We'll be working on getting those questions you might have. So one thing I've definitely been doing in the meantime is, if you have any feedback for me, especially lore related situations, like I've always said, you can message me anytime in Discord, you can message me anytime on social media. I want to hear from you. I want feedback on the lore that you want to hear the most from Heroscape, so I can have a direction on things that I should focus on. Because I don't want to just, obviously I got ideas. I've been here. I've been doing this since high school, right? I've been getting all the old stuff together now. So I am not bereft of ideas for Heroscape. The question now remains, what do you want to have from Heroscape? What do you want to be a part of the battle of all time? If that is something that is interesting to you, then let me know. Because I've done some channels. I've got in contact with my old Heroscape group, asking them what they want to see in the game. I'm going to be doing demos at cons. I'm going to be doing demos at the mall. I was looking at like little kiosk booth thingies. We're going to be putting as much out there as I can to get this product as much exposure as possible. So your support will be found in letting me know what lore you want to hear from. So with that, I yield my time.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, busy bee I am. So if anyone's asking themselves, Joe, you went to ScapeCon, didn't you? And I go, yeah. Yeah, I did. And you go, well, where's the content? Didn't you film a lot at ScapeCon 4? And I go, yeah. Yeah, I did. Well, as soon as I got back, practically that next week or whatever, I had gotten all of my Age of Annihilation Wave 1 stuff, and I felt like that was the priority. And then the next couple of weeks, I had some other little videos that I started working on because I thought that was the priority, because I know the rest of the year and into 2025 will all be ScapeCon videos. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be sick of it by the time I'm done. Definitely not 24. There won't be 24 games played. But I played, I think it was 18, 19 plus the one I didn't film against Ryan. But yeah, gonna be tons of content. Don't worry, trust me. It's gonna be a lot your way. I'm actually working on a thumbnail for my next video coming out as soon as I finish this thumbnail. So maybe in the morning. But yeah, we got a lot of content, guys. A lot of content. Heroscape is back, and I think we were talking about it before, gentlemen. Talking about I think when you were Ryan, when you were talking about when you talked about the new journal entry from the scenario. Mm-hmm. You're getting a lot of people, watching that. Yeah, the community is thriving right now for Heroscapers. I had went to an event in Massachusetts, and I met a lot of new players, like brand new players. I also met players that haven't played Heroscape since it got discontinued. And of course, I saw Chris Perkins. So he's always around.
Yeah, he's on the Battle Network. I think
Yeah.
it's really funny.
So there's a lot of new people. I'm so happy to see this community thrive right now. It is fantastic. So if you are in the community, welcome. And also, if you've been here for the entire time, please welcome our new brethren to the game, because it's exciting times. Exciting times. But with that,
And Joe, I want to say something.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and tell you, we're just getting started. So.
oh, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Hey, that's my line.
I mean,
I
I
get
know,
shade.
I know, you know, but this pile just keeps getting thicker. Okay, it just keeps getting thicker. These are all individual video ideas.
Good luck, buddy.
Even without Age of Annihilation, it would have been this thick. So don't worry about that. I'm not going anywhere. I got tons of work to do.
Nice.
But yeah, with that, thank you. I will yield my time.
All right, thank you, Joe. Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to say as usual when I do my closing things here. So you can find me over on YouTube under Rocker Robotics or tabletopbattlefield.com for some miniature wargaming video content.
Yeah, and a couple of Heroscape stuff I think you posted in the last few weeks too. I think.
Oh, sort of.
did
Yeah, I
one
was
or two
talking
things.
about using Heroscape Talos or BattleTech in 2024 if it makes financial sense. So it's kind of Heroscape related ish. I probably will do some miniature painting for them. I just haven't got around to that just quite yet. I misplaced all my fancy painting brushes, and I'm a little bit annoyed at myself. So.
All right. Well, thank you. And again, links in the description below for all these guys, for sure. And, of course, I'm Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla. And Justin, yes, you came just in time before we closed. He's saying there in the chat, almost missed it, misremembered what day I weren't streaming. And bring on the bard. Yeah. It's great.
I definitely have passed on the word that people like the bard.
Yeah.
So trust me. The more you talk about certain characters, the more
have-
that gets passed.
We have an inside guy now, Justin. We have an inside guy in the company. But yeah, Justin. Remember, it's like usually. I mean, it's again. I'm gonna like say this again in the future, since I'm gonna be now transitioning to splitting my time between Tales of Valhalla and Tales of the Void, which will be Tales of the Void is a YouTube channel that I recommend you subscribe to. It's going to be about Adventure Together games, Source, Time Strike, and everything Source related. And I'll be streaming on that YouTube channel every Wednesday, and I have been doing it for a few Wednesdays, but it's a slow transition. But every Sunday around 9:30, I'll be streaming on Tales of Valhalla. That will stay consistent, but I do have to, because I can't like double my workload and stream just as much on Tales of the Void as I have Tales of Valhalla. I'll kill myself. So I'm splitting it up. Tales of the Void, Tales of Valhalla. Eventually, in the next like month or two. Right now, it's like this coming Wednesday. I will stream on Tales of Valhalla because I have a mailbag. I got a box. I got boxes back here that need to be opened for some Heroscape mail. The Source Golf channel, says Justin. Yes, I did play some Source Golf. I've read through the Time Strike rulebook, and I'll read through the Source Golf rulebook in the next few weeks. Probably not this Wednesday, but probably the next Wednesday. I'll start doing that and getting more content on that channel. I just can't wait till Source comes out in like, I think it's like a month and a half or so. So looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
And once that stuff gets out and it gets in the mail, then I'll start streaming regularly on Wednesdays on that channel, and that will be the permanent split where Tales of Valhalla Sunday nights 9:30, Tales of the Void Wednesday nights 9:30, and that transition will be complete. So yeah, just lots to look forward to with that. And so with that, I guess we will close down. Do backstage again these upcoming weeks. Renegade Con's coming up, and that's going to be a fun weekend.
Yep.
We'll do a
and National Heroscape Day.
ToV Live React.
Yeah, what is that? Does that lie on the 19th?
That's the 19th. Yeah.
Okay.
New scenario and new miniature opportunity for local game stores. So,
Lovely.
October
Cornelius
19th,
Breach.
I hope.
October 19th, yes.
October
Okay,
19th.
good.
Because that means we already passed it.
Yeah, I'm like-
Belated anniversary, everybody.
Oh, wait, when the episode comes out, or
No,
yeah,
Jason was
National
confused.
Heroscape
Just like,
Day.
wait,
I'm like, wait a minute,
that just-
19th is 3 days ago. Did I miss another free miniature
Oh, yeah.
opportunity?
It's October.
Like, oh no.
It's October. Yeah. We still have a little bit of time.
Pirate Ninja are the current options right now. Well, Pirate not yet, but soon.
But anyway, so October 11th, Renegade Con. We'll do a ToV live react, and then the 13th we'll do an overview, a ToV podcast overview of everything we're releasing. And all I got to say about that is bugs. Okay,
They're here.
yeah, they're here.
All hail Queen Maladrix.
They had me at bugs, and nothing else matters after that. So that's going to be that. But with that, I thank everybody for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Again, shout out to everybody on the Audiosphere via Spotify and other channels that I'm trying to get acquired. And Justin saying, but my NHS event is the following week due to scheduling conflicts at my FLGS. Yes. Oh, bummer. But Justin, it's great to see you, great to chat with you, even at the end of these things. But we have to close. And yes, save the Vord. Yes, I still have that original commercial of Joe's. I might have to have that in the countdown video come Renegade Con if I have time to re-edit that countdown. I'll try to attempt that. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Again, thank you everybody on the panel for joining me. You have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it, and we'll see all of you next time. Later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.